afternoon, everyone. We're just in time. It's one of the last sessions of Big Data London. I hope you had an amazing 2 days if you were here 2 days. And we welcome you to the changing role of analytics in the modern defense environment. This is a session powered by Women in Data, of course, in this stage. And I want to say a little bit of what we're going to see today. So today we'll hear and we will explore how AI and flexible data platforms are helping defense teams anticipate threats, make faster decisions, and strengthen operations across land, sea, air, and cyber. So it's going to be a lot. And joining us today, we have two amazing ladies. One, we have Lorna Nixey, Deputy Head of Data Management at the Ministry of Defense. Lorna. Great. And we also have Amanda McCormack, who is BI and AI Capabilities Delivery Manager at BA Systems. She will share insights from both public and commercial defense perspectives. So this is going to be a very interesting talk. Handing over to you, Amanda.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. All right. Thank you. My name's Amanda McCormack, and I am a BI and AI Capabilities Delivery Manager in Shared Services in BAE Systems. I'm leading the Agile Transformation Arm, or the accelerator, into a larger product transformation program called One Digital Data in Cyber. I do feel slightly like an imposter here and among us, as I am a non-technical background, but I have over 10+ years experience within Agile transformation, change, and IT programs. Today, I am thrilled to talk to you about the changing role of analytics in a modern defense environment. Firstly, I'd like to discuss the rationale and implication of that changing environment, discuss the response from BAE Systems amid those changes from the customer, as well as our potential limitations to that challenge, and finally discuss how we are currently meeting that challenge. I'd like to finish with a use case to hopefully pull it all together for everybody. The need for AI on the front line is pressing. Modern warfare has changed. If you turn on the news, you'll see that the geopolitical landscape has evolved. How we engage in operations has shifted from the physical to the digital. Financial hacking, cyber attacks, and insider threats are all real examples of modern warfare. Technology has changed in how we look at security, protect our assets, our people, and conduct missions. The risk appetite around human life has also shifted. If you can draw your attention back to 9/11 and the commitment of the governments for frontline troop presence to today, where it's very limited and not publicized. However, the conflict in Ukraine has shown that there will always be a place for troops on the front line to do tough work, but they will look to mitigate that risk as far as possible through the use of autonomous or digital systems, absorbing the threat where possible. Missions are conducted primarily in the digital space, rather than physical presence or on the ground. Autonomy is part of that answer. It enables operators to focus on mission-critical tasks, eliminating time, and focus on less important work. It enhances and accelerates the volume and speed of information that can be processed and verified. That is then applied to the front time, in real time. I recently went to a data conference at Bletchley Park and was reminded that the people working there had to manually process 2 million cards of information a week. Think about what we could do with that with an algorithm today. Autonomy also de-risks operations from reduced human casualties. It allows less resource required to enable critical missions, services, and products. We simply do not have the sheer volume of numbers comparable to our allies nor our enemy. On the screen, you'll see the UK Strategic Defence Review. It states the government investment rightly balances conventional equipment like combat aircraft, submarines, ships with drones, cyber, and other critical new technologies. Requirements have adapted to that modern environment. Long gone are the days of decade-long running programs with just separate operating systems. My first role at BAE Systems was actually working in an engineering program involving audits of decommissioned warships, where I had to go down to the basement to find archive requirements from 30 to 40 years in the past. We've since moved on from them. But now, we have ever-changing requirements outside of our core engineering programs. We require agility to pivot, priorities that have flexible delivery options. For example, code changes against hacking from the enemy, cyber attacks, weather variables, location changes in the operations. Despite these variables, we are expected to deliver seamless service for our data over multiple platforms and products. I'd like to link to a use case of autonomy in operation. Shown above is one of our products currently in operation, the T150. Electronic warfare is preventing people from being able to operate drones at range. Autonomy helps with navigating and identifying targets, which then human operators can then approve. Through the use, and more importantly, trust in digital systems and an animated analysis of data, we can significantly reduce the resource, people, and assets and time in a typical targeting cycle, requiring far lower bandwidth than manually operating a drone at range. So, what is BAE's response to that change? We've had to go on a cultural mindset, a shift in order to deliver against new environments and requirements. This includes consideration of our delivery vehicle. From our previous portfolio of long-running programs, waterfall delivery is an obvious choice. If you don't know, waterfall involves a gated approach with scope up front, resulting in one release of product at the end. This aligns to our core engineering programs as of late. But Agile, however, aligns with the updated strategy, having flexible requirements, adapting to shifting priorities and the needs of the customer. The customer is integrated into the delivery of the product and services that we deliver. Agile allows us to respond to change through unseen circumstances, including insider threat or feedback from the front line without delaying already progress made. It eliminates the bureaucracy, delivers a working solution to the customers, and problems and limitations. We've also had to have a shift in our investment in our foundation. Our foundation layer is around data, flexible data platforms. Rather than a patchwork quilt of operating systems, having bespoke security models, maintenance, and costs associated, moving towards a rational platform with maintenance model. Think of a duvet. A sheet change when you have to do an upgrade, easy. It eliminates the amount of technical complexity, obsolescence, and debt. Removing that complexity from the system landscape allows for focus on exploitation of data rather than the integration, which is not value add, across a myriad of operational systems. Think an upgrade of 1 versus 200 with the complexities of data security, platforms, models, maintenance, user groups. Intelligence tells us that emergent technology shifts every 2 to 4 months, balancing that against a legacy of operating systems. Rationalization needs to happen and keep pace with today's market and competitors. We also need to be data delivery focused. We need to have investment in our data capabilities, including data warehousing, a shift from Excel, flat files, multiple sources all mashed together, and working towards flexibility, longevity, scalability, including thus maintenance. Our toolset rationalization goes hand in hand with this, alongside data governance and data literacy programs, which are all essential to today. We've had a shift also in how we support our people. Our resource profile is shifting. We were known primarily as an engineering company. Now we are showing ourselves and presenting ourselves as a data company. That shift in skills, training, competency, and community needs to happen. We have to look to train and mentor our people, and the environment and the new technologies need to go hand in hand with this. To keep the right people and have that retention, we have to have the right work in the right environments on the right tool sets. If you can see on this slide, P38, which is a third-party fast intercept craft. It's built by a Mani company, and we've installed an autonomous brain within it called Automate. Building the enabling AI system into another company's boat, showing that AI engine can be applied in a number of different areas and products. In so doing, our digital backbone remains adaptable to keep up with advances in technology, naturally iterating at a pace, but also remaining relevant as it counters our adversaries' counter. Therefore, the fight for longer remaining relevant, not just with new platforms, but reinvigorating old platforms through digitization. So, how are we meeting that challenge? I've broken it down into key 3 areas. Our delivery at pace alongside an ever-evolving requirements. I mentioned earlier the work that I've been doing with an agile transformation, and that is a massive step change. It's a big change for us with our mindset and our cultural differences, as well as how we work, our processes, our roles, how we report, how we budget, everything within our business. Customer collaboration is also an essential element. Product owner is at the heart of what we do. User stories define the scope. It's integral into delivery success. It also allows for dynamic problem solving. They own the requirements, they own the priority. We're able to pivot rapidly, shifting focus. If we have real-time issues, we can resolve them. We don't require escalation. We don't have to have change requests. We're reactive to issues and cyber attacks and counterintelligence, for example. Not just the enemy, however. We also be reactive to the inadvertent loss of information from insider threats or loss of IP through exposure. Flexible data platforms, investment in rapid exploitation of the data, the value add, versus complex integration methods as well. Part of our transformation program is rationalizing those data platforms across our business. Rationalizing the operating system landscape and creating united data models across them drives the flexibility within just the analytics and exploitation, more time and effort in valued activities. We can have reusable, scalable data platforms. It future-proofs our business. We always want to go to self-service, and that is the way we're going to achieve it. Right? We need to look to exploit our data warehouse. We have an EDW, an enterprise data warehouse program, that we're currently running, adding more and more data systems in. We're looking to improve the speed and reduce the delivery cost for our customer. It also links to the work that we're doing within master data management, saving millions in one aircraft alone as a proof of concept, being rolled out to another, as well as our data governance program. We have to trust our data. We have to look after it. That is an asset. Lastly, but most importantly of all, as cheesy as it sounds, people are honestly our biggest asset. Hopefully, given that we're at BDL, this audience knows more than most that there's a misconception that AI and autonomy will replace us. That's simply not true. It will revolutionize how we operate. Rather than integrating endless data feeds, people will have to re-roll to exploiting data, keeping pace with the adaptions, just like warfighting systems have. I mentioned previously that resource profile is also changing. That's shifting the analytics versus the core engineering skill sets. We have to have the commitment to investment in the analytical tool sets and platforms, ensuring that our people have the latest technology, the right work, the right platforms to work on. It promotes talent and retains it within the business. We are creating a centralized and scalable data platform at the minute called Enterprise Data Platform, so we can work in AI in the future. We're also developing the career pathways and development, keeping people in here. We're also looking at knowledge sharing. For example, on our EDP program, we're pairing with Microsoft to learn everything that they know, hopefully. And we also have a data fluency program trying to educate the wider population of BA systems, because we all are data people, whether we're end users, managers, or people that actually do the coding. I'd like to end with a use case to wrap it all together. So, in Australia, we have taken a leading position in autonomy in the land domain. Australian Army won an exercise involving crewed vehicles alongside several M113 armored vehicles that were retrofitted with autonomy. In the top left, you will see the vehicle, which is an older but capable model. Fitting autonomy gives it a new lease of life for reconnaissance and logistics, which we've demoed through that exercise. You can see our engineers setting up the system before they were sent on their own to a specified location. They were given historic satellite maps and that they combine with onboard sensors to determine their path, changing and rerouting while avoiding obstacles and one another. The Australian Army announced this as a great success and one that encourages them to do more work in the arena of autonomy. It's key to see the customer support in deployed teams working in real-time problem resolution. The customer is key through the success and engagement throughout the whole process. This also emphasizes that data integration, usability, and exploitability being baked within the products we do, not just our internal landscapes, but within each product service that we deliver for our business. In an ever-increasing digital environment, where realities of recruitment and retention, risk appetite from military commanders, and aging manned assets are all contributing to the threat already posed by our adversaries that are learning newer ways to fight on a daily basis. We must capitalize upon data analytics, retrofitting current systems for autonomous systems and usage, as well as pushing the boundary of what future platforms can do. In parallel, we have to look to influence the policies of slow-moving procurement and military organizations to adapt change faster and remain relevant and effective for longer. AI and autonomy should be seen as a tool to embrace and maximize the economy of output in the world of data analytics. It is here to stay, but so are we. We are here to shape the mindset of all involved now and the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. And now let's give it up for Lorna Nixey. Deputy Head of Data Management at Ministry of Defense, who will give us her takeaway.
Afternoon, everyone. It's very different not being able to sort of see or hear sort of the audience, but it's an honour to be here with you today to discuss a topic that's not only transforming the defence landscape, but also organisations across all sectors within security, decision-making and resilience. So within my role within the MOD, I focus on data, information, governance and skills, and we've got heads within each department. So that's going to shape my perspective from this conversation today. Additionally, in a past life, I was mainly involved in geospatial intelligence, so I was deeper involved in the actual analytics. So that's an area of defence that's always been at the forefront of innovation, so that will also weave into today's talk. So when I was first asked to speak on this topic, I went round to colleagues within the MOD to sort of ask what analytics brought to mind. This is my only slide for today, and this is exactly what they said. When I looked at this sort of word cloud that they'd created, it was my starting point, and it struck me that the sheer variety in ideas and concepts that came out and emerged from this was a powerful reminder how the conversation around analytics has evolved within the MOD. Many of the terms that surfaced in this word cloud wouldn't have even been in discussion 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, and it just highlights the rapid transformation of the digital space within the MOD. This shift is something that's formally been recognised, and as Amanda said, the Strategic Defence Review reflected this understanding. It acknowledged from today's security challenges that they are no longer isolated events. They unfold no longer over weeks or months, but instead can emerge in seconds, often spanning multiple domains: the land, sea, air, and increasingly cyber and space. In this dynamic and complex environment, analytics are no longer just a useful tool. It's become the backbone of our ability to achieve situational awareness, maintain operational agility, and develop strategic foresight. So, taking this into account with analytics, I believe analytics have changed due to data changing. There's a data challenge then versus now. In the past, defence analytics revolved around relatively structured and limited data sets. Information was collected, compiled, put into reports, analysed on a review cycle. Decision makers had more of a luxury of longer lead times to assess situations and formulate a response. Today, that model is no longer fit for purpose. The nature of modern conflict and the digital revolution have rendered it obsolete. We now operate in an environment defined by what is often referred to, as I'm sure many of you know, is the 3 V's of data: volume, variety, and velocity. Volume talks about the sheer scale of information generated every second, which in defence, frankly, is staggering. Data streams come in from satellites, sensors, drones, cyber systems, and even open sources like social media. The challenge is no longer finding data for your purpose. It's about managing the overwhelming amount of it. The second V is variety. The types of data we deal with has expanded dramatically. Structured data from logistics needs to be combined with unstructured video feeds, intercepted with communications, and even things such as vast as biometric scans. Each type of data requires different tools and approaches to extract meaningful insights, meaning a larger skill set for the analysts themselves. The third and final V is velocity. Data now flows in real time, or as much as we try to within the MOD. Commanders, analysts no longer work with the luxury of hindsight, and they have to interpret that data within the field as the events unfold, often in high-pressure, time-sensitive situations. This shift presents enormous opportunities, but also significant challenges. Where analytics once focused on understanding what happened, it now is about anticipating what might happen and enabling decision-making in that moment. The ability to harness these 3s effectively is what defines success in the modern defence environment. It requires not only the advanced tools that people are selling here today and technologies, but also a cultural shift, one that embraces agility, innovation, and a proactive approach to managing data. Often within defence, this is the hardest challenge. Additionally, what has changed is the opportunities and risks in the battlefield itself. The battlefield of today and increasingly tomorrow is as much digital as it is physical. And in this new era, data and analytics is as critical to mission success as traditional weaponry. Analytics, particularly powered by AI, has the potential to revolutionize defense operations in profound ways, with the opportunities including predictive insights, real-time situational awareness, and autonomous systems, as discussed. By analyzing patterns and trends, analytics anticipate the challenges as they arise. For example, within defense, we're often looking to predict supply shortages or equipment failures, allowing proactive measures to be taken before they actually disrupt the missions in progress. Additionally, modern conflicts often span multiple domains, as discussed. Analytics is about integrating that intelligence from all these domains, fusing it and the vast amount of data into a single coherent picture for that decision making. Within defense, we need to make these decisions quickly. And even in the most complex and fast scenarios, we have to get real-time situational awareness correct. The final opportunity is autonomous systems. From drones seen in Ukraine to robotic vehicles, autonomous systems are increasingly guided by data-driven algorithms. These systems can make split-second decisions, such as identifying threats or navigating hostile environments, often faster and more accurately than humans, unsurprisingly. However, with these opportunities come significant risks and challenges. Data exploitation by adversaries, poor governance, misinterpretation, and at the moment a big one is the over-reliance on automation. So, data by adversaries is the same data that strengthens our capabilities and is targeted by those adversaries. As you'll have seen in the news, cyber attacks, data breaches, and misinformation shown by our traditional media are campaigns that undermine operations and can compromise the security of those individuals. Data is only as valuable as it is accurate. Poorly governed or misinterpreted data can lead to confusion, misaligned priorities in the field, and often harmful decisions that jeopardize those missions and lives. While automation offers speed and efficiency, it's not infallible. Over-reliance on AI and autonomous systems without adequate human oversight introduces vulnerabilities, such as errors in judgment, ethical dilemmas, or the inability to adapt to unforeseen circumstances. The key to navigating this digital battlefield is not simply having more data or more advanced tools. It lies in managing, governing data responsibly. This means ensuring that data is accurate, secure, and used ethically, most importantly. It requires a balance between human expertise, machine intelligence, where technology enhances that decision-making rather than replacing it. In this rapidly evolving landscape, the ability to harness the power of analytics while mitigating its risks is the decisive factor in maintaining operational superiority and safeguarding national security. So, behind every powerful, effective analytic systems lies something far less glamorous and indispensable: data management and governance, my favorite topic, unsurprisingly. In high-stakes environments of defense, unreliable, incomplete, or siloed data, which is an important one and often shown in defense, is dangerous and can be as dangerous as having no data at all. Poorly governed data leads to flawed insights, misinformed decisions, and operational failures. On the battlefield, this could mean the difference between success and disaster. Governance provides the essential framework to essentially allow and ensure that data is trusted, interoperable, and responsibly shared, not just with units or organizations, but across those domains and our allied nations, such as NATO. This is the backbone that enables analytics to function as reliable and as an effective tool in the modern defense environment. Achieving robust data governance requires a focus on three critical pillars: standard, security, and most importantly, ethical oversights. It's important to emphasize that data governance is not just an exercise in bureaucracy or compliance. As much as people on the day-to-day that I speak to groan whenever they see me and they just think of me as a blocker or a bureaucracy, it's important to acknowledge that it is a foundation for everything people want to achieve within the analytics and AI space. Without the actual governance, even the most advanced AI systems with complete automation and advanced analytics tools will falter, and they'll be unable to process, interpret any data effectively, and or worse, they may produce misleading insights, creating risks rather than solutions. In the rapidly evolving defense landscape, where decisions must be made in real time and across multiple domains, data governance is what ensures that analytics can be trusted. It is the quiet enabler of innovation, as much as I like to try to say to my superiors. The unseen force that transforms raw data into strategic advantage. Without it, the immense potential of AI and advanced analytics collapses over its own weight, leaving us vulnerable in an increasingly complex and interconnected world. As Amanda said, the final thing, and probably the most important point I want to emphasize, is the human element and the skills for the future. While technology often takes center stage in discussions about analytics and AI, it's crucial not to overlook the most important factor in the equation, the human element. No matter how advanced tools become, their true value lies in effectively how they were understood, trusted, and applied to people who use them. Analytics are no longer confined to the domain of the data scientists working behind the scenes. These tools are now integral to daily operations of soldiers, analysts, commanders, people in HR, commercial, anybody using Copilot, ChatGPT. For analytics to deliver its full potential, it has to be accessible, trusted, and embedded across all levels of the Ministry of Defence. And achieving this requires a fundamental cultural shift. As I've said, often the most difficult part within the MOD. Key aspects of this shift, including prioritising upskilling our personnel, developing hybrid teams, and making sure data literacy is embedded. Data and AI tools are only as effective as the people using them. This means equipping personnel at all levels, not just data specialists or people that identify as data people, but everybody with the skills to confidently work with analytics. From understanding how to interpret data visualizations to leveraging data AI-driven insights to help enable decision-making. Upskilling is essential to everybody that can contribute to the Ministry of Defence data-driven defence environment. The complexity of modern defence challenges also demands collaboration between those domain experts and data professionals. Hybrid teams where military personnel, analysts, data scientists, and people who work within policy and strategy need to ensure that there is a technical expertise combined between all three to provide that oversight of operational knowledge. This collaboration bridges the gap between raw data and actionable insights, creating solutions that are both innovative and practical. And as analytics becomes a core component of defence operations, digital literacy must be integrated into military training programs and the civil service framework. Frontline personnel need to understand how to harness insights directly, whether it's interpreting real-time data fields, using AI-powered tools on the field, or embedding data literacy into training. We need to empower all individuals in defence to make informed decisions, even in high-pressure environments. At the heart of this cultural shift is the recognition while AI and analytics can process information and more comprehensively than ever before, the human remains the ultimate decision maker. Machines can provide data, identify patterns, and even suggest courses of action, but it's people who bring context, judgment, and accountability to the table. Building trust between human operators and analytical systems is therefore critical. This trust is not automatic. I definitely know this within the MOD, where there are some people who have been there for decades, and trust is often at its lowest. However, we're doing that, and we're trying to sort of change the process by earning it through transparency, reliability, and consistent performance. In the end, the power of analytics lies in not replacing the human decision-making, but enhancing it. So, to sum up, the evolving role of analytics in defence mirrors the shifting nature of modern conflict, which is faster, more complex, and increasingly interconnected. To meet demands, analytics must adapt to manage unprecedented volume, variety, and velocity of data generated in today's operational environments. The evolution must be built on opportunities and the foundation of a strong governance and management, ensuring we not only seize opportunities but mitigate risks. Most importantly, analytics must serve to empower people, whether it's the soldiers on the ground, the analysts at their station, or the policymakers shaping strategic decisions. When done right, analytics won't simply enable us to respond to threats, but it allows us to anticipate and outpace them, enhancing adaptability, fortifying defences, and standing one step ever ahead in an ever-changing landscape of challenges. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That was a really exciting session. Thank you, Lorna. Thank you, Amanda, for showing how data and AI can enhance adaptability and decision-making in fast-moving, high-stakes environments. And thank you all for joining. I know it's the last day and the last sessions, but we will have another session from Women in Data in 10 minutes. So if you want to stick around, we will really love to have you here. And if not, join the community and grab them in the lounge and you can ask them any questions. Thank you.